A lovely first edition Gibson Studio robot, and this one isn't a robot, but let's have a listen. I'll tell you what I can. Very interesting machines these. Let's go. And pickup sound starting with the Bridge 498T. Into the centre. And onto the neck. Let's see how it cleans up. Starting with the bridge again. Into the centre. Onto the neck. Intonation check. Lovely stuff, right, let's have a jolly good look round. Gibson first edition robot, 2007 only. I think that this one, they're all sequentially numbered. There were 4,000, it's a limited edition. I think this one's 1657. They all start RG, the serial numbers. So, whilst they did these for 2007, this was unique in the regard that Gibson said that it was a colour that they'd never used before and that they would never use again, and this is called Blue Silverburst. And I know that I'm jumping ahead here, but it's a perimeter burst, as you can see. In other words, the blue is round all the way around the outside, and we don't have a teardrop shape here like the Adam Jones ones, you see. So, I think this is the 5th one of these that I've had through the door. And this one is unique in the regard that there's no paint striations on it. Usually, you can see they look like scars in the metal plate. I mean, it's normal. So if you fancy one of these, and they are brilliant guitars for a number of reasons. If you see paint striations, those lines, equal lines, don't let that put you off. It's absolutely fine. What do we get? Well, it was actually designated a studio, but it's not really, is it? You look at the headstock for a start. The headstock is bound. It's got the custom shop flower pot in it. That's all in mother of pearl, as is the Gibson logo. Of course, you've got that truss rod cover that tells you it's a first edition robot. Around the back, you should have, of course, those big robotic tuners. But as you can see, these have been replaced with Gotos, and it looks like these Gotos have replaced something else. So I think it's been unroboted twice by the looks of it. So you've got a custom shop head. The neck, which is mahogany, of course, with I've seen some specs that call it a rosewood fingerboard. That ain't rosewood, not in my book anyway. That's ebony, as far as I can tell. And all the ones that I've seen have all been the same. And as you can see, it is bound a bit like a standard with what looks to me like mother of pearl trapezoid inlays. There's certainly some movement in those, there's a bit of shimmer there. And you've got 22 medium jumbo frets as per. So mahogany neck, ebony board that's bound, mated into a mahogany body with a maple cap. The body itself is chambered, and it's quite light, this, for a Les Paul. It weighs about 7.5 pounds, which is not a strain at all. It doesn't fit, it's not like one of those chunky, 50s or 60s jobs. They weigh a ton. Anyway, I've also seen the specs say that you've got a 490 here and a 490 here. And as memory serves, it's a 490 in the front and a 498 in the back. So the back should be popping out about 13-ish, and the front will be popping out just less than 8. And it's difficult to tell with the way that these are wired. It's a bit of a faff if you want to find out. But having had a completely unroboted one before that I was able to measure in the normal way, certainly that's what you have. 490 at the front, 498 in the rear. And all of the wiring is totally original on this. You don't even need to take the cavity cover off because it's a see-through job, as is the switch one. So when we get down to the body, of course, it's a studio body. Certainly there's no binding, but we do have, of course, that lovely unique colour. So you've got a custom shop, standard studio, if you like. The bridge is kind of a tunematic. It's got underneath it a printed circuit board, and the robotic system would automatically intonate your guitar. And there's a printed circuit board underneath the stop tail as well, and you'll note inside where the strings are held that there are whites. You should be able to see some white around the apertures there, and the white is ceramic, and that was there to stop any crosstalk from between the strings so that it didn't confuse the robot head. I can only imagine that there must be a ribbon cable that goes underneath the fretboard to the head to provide the power, because unless the power's going through the strings, but I can't see that. So that's what I reckon. we have got, yeah, so the unroboted ones that I've seen, you only have to take the head, the machine heads off, because happily this silver knob, which does all of the electronic trickery, just acts in the normal way as a tone knob when it's not being electrical. Speaking of which, if you've got one of these and you can't charge it up, use a very short lead, 4 inches, 6 inches, something like that. That'll do it, because it's tricky to get bits for them, and they are reluctant to charge up. And if it's a long lead, how the hell do you get a 12-volt signal in through this opening here? That to me is pretty clever stuff. So yeah, limited edition, 4,000. Regular Gibson construction with a unique paint job. I have seen similar paint jobs, but not exactly the same. And they are not heavy at all. They're chambered. They always sound great. And they come highly recommended from me. So, with all that said, I shall thank you all ever so much for tuning in, as always, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Adios, amigos. Ta-ra.